Yes.
I don't know. I haven't heard their last.
Bill, stole up that.
6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Okay.
This is the FVRL Board of Trustees meeting for September 15th, and we will start by approving the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All right, Miranda, could you call a vote, please?
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges is not here. Christy Morgan is not here. Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarita,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye. Motion passes. I don't have any announcements, so we'll move right to public comment. When you are called, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. We'll take up to 1 hour to hear comments. Please no clapping or noise during or between speakers. Be respectful and stand on the xylophone carpet square and direct your comments to the board. And when you are called up, please say your first and last name. And we'll start with virtual public comment.
So first up, we have Quill Onstead.
Good evening, board. Give me just 1 second. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Quill Onstead and my pronouns are they, them. I'm here to speak in support of Drag Queen Story Hour as a genderqueer member of the library community. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm more than ready to live in some boring, completely precedented, uninteresting times. After hearing about the latest rounds of violence, the Annunciation Catholic Church shooting, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the Evergreen school shooting in Colorado, I can't help but feel that libraries and the services they offer are more important than ever. A recent study backs this up. Admittedly, it was conducted with the help of New York Public Library, so there's some self-selection bias among the 1,907 participants, but they found that 74% of participants responded that the library improves how equipped they feel to deal with the world. 90% reported using libraries improves how much they enjoy learning new things, and 88% said library use supported their personal growth. Libraries let people learn, expand their worldviews, and form communities with people outside their own affinity groups. The surest way to disarm fear is knowledge. Drag Queen Story Hour is a vital program that teaches kids about gender identity in an age-appropriate manner. Parents who do not approve of Drag Queen Story Hour do not have to bring their children to any Drag Queen Story Hour programs. Please allow the staff of FVRL Libraries to present Drag Queen Story Hour and have the district live up to the ideals espoused in the FVRL Libraries Equity Statement. Thank you for your service to the community.
That's all the virtual comments. Next, we have Gary Wilson.
Thank you, Gary Wilson. Thank you, library board members, for your service, and my usual, please continue to err on the side of caution when it comes to programming and your most vulnerable patrons, that would be the children. Thank you.
Next, we have Randy Schmidt.
My name is Randy Schmidt. Thank you for allowing me to speak. So as you've seen over the last few years, the library board meetings have kind of had a battle of worldviews played out and we've seen that on one side, you have people who believe in the transgender worldview, and on the other side, you have those who believe in the concrete reality worldview based on truth and objective evidence. This last week, we have seen the clash of two worldviews played out in some horrific ways with the death of Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated by a person living with a man converting to be a woman, actually printing fascist comments on his bullets casings, which is kind of crazy. The main reason Charlie was assassinated is that those who disagree with him labeled him as a bigot, fascist, and hater. This allowed them to see him not as a human being, but as somebody less than that. So simply, he was willing to engage them in open debate with those who disagreed with him. But those who labeled him in these open debates during the meeting decided that at some point they no longer wanted to give him a voice, so they killed him. We continue to bring evidence now that the transgender worldview is not being beneficial to the children of this community. We've done that in many ways, and if you read the book that I donated to the library the last time, you would see that it has compassion for those who have this gender dysphoria, but yet it has some strong policy that allow for the dignity of women in women's spaces, as well as treating those with dignity that have gender dysphoria. So with those, I would ask that you would reject the hateful words that we see played out even in this forum. And many times over the last couple of years, we have had the words hateful, bigot, and transphobe and all these other labels applied on us to do the same thing to us that they've attempted to do to Charlie, which is to dehumanize us and make it so that our message does not have meaning. I ask that you reject those words. I ask that you would pass a policy, an official policy, to ban Drag Queen Story Hour to protect the children of this community. Thank you.
That is all we have signed up for tonight.
Okay, well, we have lots of time left. Is there anyone who wants to speak that did not sign up? All right, thank you all for your comments. I'm going to close the public comment now. And next we have the consent agenda, which is the minutes from our August meeting and the claims from August. So is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, I'll move that to a vote. Miranda?
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges, Christy Morgan, Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Katrina, we have the July 2025 financial statements.
Good evening. Yes, July's financial statements. Here we are in September talking about July, and the year is passing us by quickly. So through July, we have received almost 18 million in revenues and expended almost $17 million, leaving us with a year-to-date position of revenues exceeding expenditures by just over 1 million. For July, we have our revenues or our expenditures rather exceeding revenues by just over 2 million. This is pretty consistent with what we expect month over month. Outside of April and October, we expect that our expenditures will outpace our revenues, the nature of the library's finances. The next thing I will point out on, I apologize, I should have told you I'm on page 18 of your board packet. The next thing I will point out on this page is that we are meeting our cash targets of 60 to 90 days of the annual budget. Any questions on that page before I move on to revenues? Okay. Moving on to revenues, page 19 of your packet. All things considered, revenues continue to meet our expectations. You'll see there that your property taxes just barely went up over last year's report, a 1% increase, which again is expected with the bulk of our revenues coming, the bulk of our property tax revenues coming in April and October. Our other taxes increased 9% over last month. Our intergovernmental grants and contracts increased 8% over last month. A few things I will point out there. The federal in lieu of taxes, that first line under that category, we are only at 1% of what we budgeted. This is one of those revenues that is hard to estimate, and so we went off of trend analysis. It is similar in nature to timber tax, where we only get taxes or money in lieu of property taxes based off of certain things that happen in the county, initiating these revenues to first go to the county and then trickle down to us. So we overestimated budget in that category. Also, the ESD 112 revenues, we will see those coming in August or September. That is an annual contract, and so we always see those in the third quarter. Moving on to charges for services, I will call out that this category increased 11% over last month. And then also continue to notate that our non-resident borrower fee is significantly above budget because we changed how we calculate that fee after we created the budget.
And we opened this.
This library.
And this library, yes. Um, Moving on to miscellaneous revenues. This category as a whole is significantly higher than what we budgeted. And so I will note here under miscellaneous revenue, right now that is where the funds that we're receiving from the insurance company related to the VA fire are going. This may change when we get to our fiscal year and financial report based on reporting requirements. Any questions on revenues before we move to expenditures? Okay. So page 20 of your financial report, personnel costs continue to be about 7% under budget. We carry on average 16 to 20 vacancies and will continue to recruit and fill positions throughout the end of the year. Our supplies are at 49% of budget. The area that is most underspent is small equipment FF&E. And this is in part because there are efforts that we have not initiated that we budgeted for. For example, a Three Creeks refresh that included some furniture and equipment.
Will that be happening before the close of the year?
No,
Okay,
no, we do
thank
not
you.
expect that to happen. Library books and materials, those are at 46% of budget. This is an increase of 5% over last month. And we've talked about this a couple of times. There's a timing difference why that is not higher. The percent to budget is not higher. And then moving down to other services and charges, this category has increased over last month, primarily in professional services and communications. Something else I want to point out, we've talked about this a couple of times, but intergovernmental services, we know that that amount that we budgeted to pay the counties for our elections costs is going to go up significantly. We learned from Clark County, I think last month, that that is going to be an additional $34,000 over what we expected, even the adjusted expectation. So additional increase there.
Question, do you
Yes.
anticipate any additional insurance charges, or have we paid up for the year?
We do have an insurance invoice or two that will be paid, that'll be processed on August and/or September's finances.
And it'll be within your original estimate?
Great question, Marianne. I actually think that we under budgeted slightly for insurance. And so I think that when all is paid, you'll see that be just over 100%.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So then under capital outlay, as we've talked about a couple of times, we've held off on major projects. For example, the Vancouver deck was a significant project budgeted that we've held off on, and we expect that that'll move forward into 2026. So we're only 7% spent under capital at this point.
The
Any
Woodland
que-
project is complete and tied up, or?
Yeah, that's a great question, Marianne. It significantly is complete and wrapped up. I am still working with the Department of Revenue on some sales tax questions related to how Bremick invoiced us to be able to release their retainage. So we have not released retainage yet, as that is held up with the state and Bremick. And we also have to make final payment on the beautiful lounge that is out in the Woodland lobby.
So we
Thank you for
waited
that.
for a year for a replacement piece of furniture and now we're waiting for the electrical components of that piece. And that should be coming soon. And once it's all in place, we can pay that final bill.
It sounds like you have everything under control, except for things that are just not arriving.
Mm.
Everything controllable we have under control, yes.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Is there a motion to receive and file the July 2025 financial statement as presented?
So moved. I beat you.
I second. Any other discussion? All right, I'll move this. Oh,
I appreciate the layout that you give us and your ability to respond to questions. It's comforting.
comforting. All right, thank you. Thank you, Katrina. I'll move that to a vote.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Mary Ann Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges, Christy Morgan, Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye. Oh, all right, so the July 2025 financial statements are adopted. And we have next summer reading recap. Kelsey. Oh, please come, yes, come sit at the table.
I mean, the xylophone was tempting, but.
Leave it up to you.
If you'd rather, whatever.
Okay. I think I've got some slides.
Do you have a clicker?
Fantastic, thank you. All right, well, thank you for having me here. Oh, we are at the very end. Let me go back. We'll get to see it in reverse for a second first.
Don't look, everyone look away.
Yeah, look away. So no, I'm so happy to be here. It's one of my favorite parts every year is getting to come in and share a little bit about how summer reading went for the year. For those of you I haven't had a chance to meet yet, I'm Kelsey Hudson. I'm the outreach and programming coordinator for youth for the library district. So I get to help work with all of our fantastic staff and our foundation and our partners and everybody to get this up and running each year. And it's always a lot of fun and a great effort. So this year, I am super excited to say that we are continuing to see an increase from the previous year. We've had an increase of about 19% in our participation, over 10,000 participants across all of our age ranges, from early learners all the way through adults. We're continuing to see that increase year over year since 2020, which is fantastic to see. This year, we saw a pretty comparable increase in our outreach and our programming efforts, which I think contributed to that kind of continued rise. Our greatest rise in participation was amongst our early learners, so our 0 to 5 age range. I know several of our libraries made a really concerted effort to include this as part of story time this year, so I think that really contributed to that big increase in addition to that increase in participation overall. As we've seen from year to year, we have a completion rate of about a quarter of our participants, around 24%. We're hoping to see that, increase maybe next year, and we've got some ideas for how we might do that. We're also next year going to be maybe looking at, we saw early learners rise this year. Kids and tweens are solid year to year. They're our highest participants. We'd love to see how we can maybe see teens and some of our younger adults, our 20s and 30s increase. So next year you might see my colleague Jamie, who works with adults, join me, because we're going to be putting a little bit more of our effort into that since our core for kids is just really solid. Let's see. This year, we were able to award 60 prizes, grand prizes throughout our library district. One of the ways we've really seen an encouragement for our folks is by being able to have something where everybody knows there will be a grand prize winner from their location. So every single one of our libraries is able to give out grand prize winners, fantastic baskets that are supported with foundation funds to put together materials that help support those summer reading goals. So fun books and games for younger participants, some cookbooks and other materials for our teens and adults, and really seeing engagement there. We also had Librantics winners this year. Librantics is our annual virtual challenge. This year it was kind of a flat Stanley approach where we took our
Alien Area 75 in celebration of the 75th, and folks kind of put it out there. In fact, the picture on the top left there with the kiddo and the chicken, you'll see his entry later, and that prize will make a lot more sense. And then we also drew a survey winner this year. One of the things we really wanted to see increase this year was our patron response to our surveys. And so we were able to put aside some funds to help incentivize participation and draw a winner there. And so we did see an increase in our patron survey responses, and that was great to see as well. One of the other things we did in addition to our grand prize, every single person had the opportunity to earn some little just kind of like check-in incentives throughout the summer, encourage them to come back and check in at kind of 10, 20, 30, and 40 days through our vinyl stickers. I have some left over if anybody would like at the end. These were our fancy finisher prizes. They're holographic and fun, and Woodland graciously donated some of their leftovers to us. So those are there for anybody who might want one and didn't already get one in summer reading. In addition to our prizes, our stickers, every single youth who signed up was also able to get a book at sign up. This is something we've been able to do for the last few years, and it's something we continually receive feedback, both from staff, from patrons, about how much this helped engage their youth in reading throughout the summer. So we were able to give out about 8,000 books, all of which were funded by our foundation and our generous sponsors. And it's really a thing that we continue to see a lot of positive feedback. I clicked twice. Some of the responses we saw in our patron surveys are captured up here. We also did a pretty extensive staff survey to help kind of round out the results we got from our staff, or from our patrons, pardon me. But a lot of what we hear is that this helps connect folks directly with reading from the very beginning. A lot of our youth don't have access to their school libraries throughout the summer. Their parents may love to come to the library as much as possible, and that's certainly one of our summer reading goals. But even if they can't come back as often as they would like, they know when they sign up for summer reading at the beginning, they have a book and they have something they can read from the very beginning. And it's something that we hear a lot of from our patrons and from our staff that they really appreciate. Beyond being able to give away the books, we know that summer reading also helps kind of generate a community sense for folks, which I think is captured by that quote in orange there, which I just really loved. I like the air of being in cahoots with all the other readers. I think next year we're really going to try and build more cahoots amongst folks and see what we might be able to do with that. For this particular portion, it's going to focus a little bit more on youth programs and youth participants, because that's what kind of our core of the library summer reading program has been. And this year we, much with the registrations, as I mentioned, we saw our program participation go up. Our program numbers were fairly similar for youth, but each one saw an increase in the amount of participants. We saw about 20% overall, over 26,000 youth participants in programs. Some of our most popular ones were the hands-on ones, as evidenced, or I should say feet-on by that first photo there. Things like our STEM and our art programs, where kids and families can get in there and practice and do those things directly themselves. We also have a ton of our presenters that even incorporate that into what they're doing. You'll see Creature Teacher, or pardon me, the Reptile Man up in the top there. Yes, pardon me. He is by far our most popular summer reading performer. When he finally retires, we are going to have to go on a hunt. We've been assured he has a little more time left in his plans here, but yeah. And then actually that picture up in the top left, that was our Librantics runner-up this year with the chicken selfie with our Area 75. So that was, as I said, that prize would make a little more sense when you saw his entry there. Our staff particularly enjoyed that one. We saw it come through, so. In addition to programming, because of our 75th anniversary this year and so many other things happening, our staff really ramped up their outreach efforts over the course of this summer. We attended at least 235 events. I say at least because things got really busy, and I'm sure we missed one or two in that capturing. And we were able to connect over 25,000 patrons with library resources, new cards, summer reading information. As we got back into the back to school time, we were able to give out more books in some situations, which was really fantastic. And able to help connect a lot of folks with the library passport, which was definitely a really solid highlight at a lot of our outreach events this year. These are just kind of a smattering of some of the things we did: concerts, community celebrations, farmers markets, and even some events that our staff hosted out in parks and in partnership with our bookmobile stops and other things. We were out and about all summer. And even when we were in our library, we were still partnering with folks. I tucked the free lunches on here as well. That is a partnership with Share that's in its 5th year. And this year was at Vancouver and Cascade Park, and we were able to serve over 2,700 free meals to youth over the course of about 7 weeks this year in partnership with Share. And that's something our staff and our patrons and our community partners have really appreciated us being able to do. And it's great to be able to offer it. So you can see we were busy this summer. Our staff were doing a lot, both in the library, out of the library, helping connect kids and adults with reading and learning and engaging with the library all summer long. And it's always a lot of fun, and I'm happy to answer any questions. All right.
I don't think we have any questions, but thank you for that report. It was really positive. I think it's making a huge impact on literacy in our communities, and so we appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. And definitely feel free to snag a sticker.
When do you start planning for next summer?
About 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer is a year-long event at the library.
It is. People are getting emails from me in June about next year already. So
We appreciate being in cahoots with you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it as well. So here's hoping to bring more people into the cahoots next year. So well,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Kelsey. All right, we have the FVRL organizational report. Alicia and Jennifer.
Stickers.
Yeah.
Good.
Hi. Just want to highlight some of the great programming and outreach efforts that are going on around the district. And thanks to Kelsey for just highlighting so many wonderful things that our programming and outreach department was able to accomplish this summer. I always like to find little nuggets of just really great stories. So this first one just really resonated with me. At Battleground, they had a back to school night at Hodgkinson Heights Elementary, and they had a bookmark contest. And the winner's mom shared that her daughter replays the message congratulating her on winning whenever she needs encouragement. And I thought that was just a really special story.
Aw.
And also at Battleground, another one, they had a toddler drive-in. The families decorated the little cardboard box cars so that the little guys could sit in there and read stories, and they watched a movie. So they had their own little drive-in, and there's a photograph. But I just really, really loved that. I thought it was great. And they also had a mini horse story time. Super popular. The animals are always really popular. They read If I Were a Horse, and they had visits with 2 mini horses, Mystical and Pearl. So that was a really special program. Out in Goldendale, the Friends had their first annual mini golf at the library fundraiser. They were able to raise about $1,800, which was great. So they had $300 from event donations, and then $1,500 they raised from local sponsors. And it was a really great event, and everyone really enjoyed that. Ridgefield's Build It program, budding astronomers constructed working telescopes with glass lenses during August's program, and that was really great. And then out in Skamania, the Skamania Bookmobile did quite a few outreach events as well, including National Night Out, where they saw close to 300 patrons, the Skamania County Fair, and the Trout Lake Health and Wellness Fair. And events like the Trout Lake Wellness Fairs, it's just so important when folks live in a more remote community, and that we are able to go to them with the bookmobile and connect with folks in that way that might not have the opportunity to come to one of our buildings. And then along with that, many of our branches participated in National Night Out. And again, it's just a great way. It offers opportunities to connect with families and highlight our wonderful library resources. Continue to hear about the wonderful things from the Passport program. It was just delightful. Patrons and staff loved it. And this one was from Three Creeks. 2 patrons completed their passports at Three Creeks, and they were able to discover novelists, which really helps with readers advisory, and then also learning more about local Carnegie Library history, including their home branch, which is now the Clark County Historical Museum, which anyone can visit with the Experience Pass. So there's always a connection there, and that's great to be able to build on those experiences with our patrons. And then this was another really great one out of Washougal. A grandmother shared that her granddaughter chose an art program at the library over all the other activities because she loves the library so much. So I always love these stories. And then I will end with a little plug since Angela's here and will be presenting to you all. Woodlands Back to School Bash. Staff was able to engage with over 400 students and parents. So that's a really great number and lots of connections that we were able to make.
Next, we have the FVRL Foundation report with Jenny.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to report and present. I have a verbal update, but I did include the foundation update in your board packet. I've been in my role now for 7 months, and what a time it has been. The foundation led the Vote Yes campaign for the library lid lift, which was keeping us very busy the last few months. And I wanted to share that we felt like this was a successful campaign because of the commitment of our friends of the library. They invested their resources, time, and energy to support the effort, and we also had hundreds of additional volunteers that helped us to have a strong presence across the district. From the Goldendale Farmers Market to the Woodland Planter Days to knocking on doors in Washougal and beyond. There was a parade in North Bonneville and all the events in between, even folks calling from their home, potentially in their pajamas, I'm not sure, to show up for FVRL. And they made a great impact, and we're really deeply grateful to our volunteers across the district. While this important and fun work was happening, I've also been orienting myself with the foundation and kind of considering what's possible for us to increase our impact to FVRL staff, patrons, and the larger communities. And I have a few highlights that I'd share of my learnings and kind of what's ahead. The foundation has begun to invest in systems and modernization of processes to better communicate the impact of the library that it's having and to inspire more support for your programs. Examples of this are really glamorous things like new databases, email platforms, and financial software and processes, but together they'll be able to communicate more effectively with supporters and make a difference. We're looking forward to working collaboratively to share the mission of the library in ways to inspire confidence and investment, kind of a new growing relationship for the foundation and the district, which we're really excited about. And we're really looking forward this year to working on building another library. The foundation has been committed to capital projects through the years, and with state funding and donor support, we have about $2.8 million that we've brought forward for Washougal, and I know that'll be a continuing conversation that we're really excited to be a part of. Next month, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our annual fundraising event, Authors and Illustrators. We have a fundraising goal for this event to raise $150,000 in addition to our sponsorships. And we've had a pretty big increase in our sponsorships this year. So I really wanted to give a shout out to Judy Musa, who's on the call right now, for her hard work and dedication to increasing that support. I wanted to thank Mary Williams and Sasquatch Media for buying a table, and I think Megan Dugan's going to be there. So welcome everyone to come and join in the fun at this event. We're going to be celebrating the 75th anniversary of the district, in addition to a really great author. So it's going to be a kind of momentous opportunity to celebrate the milestones of the district together, especially during a big year of passing the levy lid lift. I wanted to reiterate my commitment to FVRL and our partnership. I've observed your admin team working on patron-centered projects, as well as reviewing opportunities for efficiencies and innovation. And I'm just really honored to work in this role, supporting Jennifer and the team, and with all of you board members who give such time and dedication to serving FVRL and the communities that we serve. Anybody have any questions? I mean,
Thank you.
Judy is recovering. She's working from home. She's on the call now. So
Okay.
yeah, but she's bringing sunshine however she can, as usual. So
I'm looking forward to the dinner, and I hope some board members will join me there.
yeah, we have a cap of 500 and we're about 425. So we're in the final weeks of selling tickets and getting that room filled for sharing everybody's love of libraries. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah.
All right, and our last report is the Woodland Branch report. Angela, come on down.
Hey, board. Welcome to Woodland. I don't know all of you, but I'm Angela. I'm the new branch manager here at Woodland. Before I was here, I was at the mall library. Y'all familiar, correct? The super big, huge mall library. I was there for 8 months as the senior branch supervisor, but I'm having a blast in Woodland. Let's see. So, oh, I have the clicker. That's right. Sorry, Miranda. Okay, so the Woodland Community Library, you all have seen this beautiful building that we're in, right? I know it's hard to believe that just over a year ago, we were in that other little tiny house. I just wanted to take a minute and give a brief overview of how we got here. This community has long valued libraries. In 1874, Woodland began fundraising for a library. About 50 years later, Woodland's first public library opened. You are all likely quite familiar with this library as it served as a Woodland library until just last year. In 1996, Woodland voted to become part of FVRL. In 2017, FVRL purchased this parcel of land. In October of last year, this building opened. So the dedication and effort of the Woodland Library staff and the Friends of the Library, some that are here today, were instrumental in turning the vision of a new library into a reality. I just want to take a minute and say, when I say Friends of the Library, I'm also including the foundation in this. As you can see, Judy and probably Jenny in some of these pictures. So some members of the Woodland Friends of the Library dedicated over a decade to working and fundraising for the new building. This building has received the Best Small Project Award at the ACEC Oregon 2025 Engineering Excellence Awards. And additionally, our credible, diligent, and determined Friends of the Library were honored with the 2025 Volunteer Leadership Award from the Washington Library Association. The staff at the ooh, I missed one, sorry. Oh yeah, that's us.
Good.
The staff at the Woodland Library is small but mighty. We have a total of 6 staff members. Wait, we have a total of 6 staff members, 4 full-time positions and 2 part-time positions. The whole crew, except myself and a couple of friends in there, are pictured here. And of course, we are supported by our award-winning Friends of the Library group. They support us through book sales. They run the Friends of the Library bookstore in the library. It's right out here if you guys didn't see it on your way in. They volunteer to help us with our programs, and they are often right there beside us when we do outreach. They are the spirit of the library. When one of them walks through the doors, we get excited every time. When Sandy came to the meeting, I was like, oh, sit by me, Sandy. They are great. They just come in and they lift up the spirits of everybody. I just wanted to quickly share a snapshot of who this library serves each day. We are located in a very unique position. So you can see the purple arrows are pointing to Woodland. We're on the border between Clark County and Cowlitz County. So generally speaking, we serve the town of Woodland, Clark County, and parts of Cowlitz County, and of course the Yale Valley Library District. We have a handful of nearby libraries that we have reciprocal agreements with, and we see the patrons of these reciprocal libraries in here every single day. That's Kalama Public Library, Kelso Public Library, Longview Public Library, and Timberland Regional Library. Because of our unique location, we issue the most non-resident fee cards in the district. When I reached out to Brenda and asked her for the actual number, she even said, wow. So in 2025, so far, there's been 139 new fee account cards issued. 115 of them have been from Woodland. That's 83% of all non-resident fee cards that have been issued this year.
And just for everyone listening to remind them, these are people that live outside of the district limits and in an unincorporated area that do not have a library that they pay for. So in order to receive service, they have to buy a non-resident card.
We are very happy that we can serve them in this way, and it expands our service area. Most of the patrons that come here are just ecstatic to pay a small fee and get everything we offer. Since we're wrapping up the first year in this library, I just wanted to put some stats out there. So we're in the blue on both of these charts, and they're compared to last year. So February of last year compared to February of this year. As you can see, we kind of have the build it and they will come effect, but they keep coming, which has been really important. So when I was looking at these numbers, I particularly looked at the June numbers, because June, and Sharon and Sandy can attest to this, my friends at the library, we were very, very busy. Yes. So you can see in June, we almost doubled our numbers in circulation, and we did double them in total visits. Okay, so Kelsey already wrapped this up for us nice and quick. So I came in right as summer reading or summer programs were picking up. On the top, the first 4 bullets were just our very well-attended events. So the summer reading kickoff party had 356 people, which we had the mini horses at. You know what a draw that is. Reptile Man, 406. Danza Azteca, 120. And the Stunt Eddie Flea Circus, 115. So the staff did all these amazing programs, a staff of 5 to 6. And they also, of course, did their regular ongoing programs. Here at this library, the popular foundational ongoing programs are the Master Gardener series, the Adult Book Group, and Family Storytime. This summer, we are also super excited to have classes from the 2 elementary schools come and visit us. So the bilingual classes from the North Fork Elementary and all the 4th grade classes from Columbia Elementary. I just wanted to point out that the room that we're sitting in has a capacity of 147 people. So we are just thrilled and excited we have that outside patio so Reptile Man can come and talk to 409 people. Our outreach and partnerships, another busy summer. We did hot summer nights in the park. If you're from Woodland, you know about this. If you're not, you can probably surmise. It's right over here at the Horseshoe Lake Park. It was a lot of fun. I think there was 7 that we participated in this year. We also did National Night Out. Sandy of the Friends of the Library helped us at were you there? National Night Out. And Kinder Night, we went to both Kinder Nights, the Back to School Bash, which Alicia highlighted. And what has been really exciting for me is this Read, Return, Repeat site in the corner store. The corner store here in Woodland is a very well-known corner store. I don't know how to say it. In Woodland, it's right there on the edge of Woodland before you go out to Laluska and Yale, and you can get to Yakult right there. So it hits a lot of the hikers, it gets a lot of out-of-town traffic, plus it's very, very popular in town. So when I showed up at the Woodland Corner store, I met the owner the first time I was there, and I said, hey, I really wanted to see if you guys could give us a shelf to do Read, Return, Repeat. And he said to me, oh my gosh, let me take you upstairs. And he showed me these shelves, and none of this upstairs looked like it did. It was just these shelves and all this torn up wood and some bar stools thrown around. And he said, everybody kept telling me, like, take these shelves out because it would open the entire place up. And he said, no, 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 I want to put books on them. And they said, oh, wherever are you going to find some place to get all those books? And he said, I just told everybody, it will work out. It will work out. And he's like, and you walked in today and said, do you want some books? So it has been a wonderful, wonderful partnership with them. So other partnerships that other partners we've been working closely with are Bloodworks Northwest, Humane Society for Southwest Washington Mobile Vet Clinic, the Clark County WorkSource and Workforce. And I just want to say those top 3 bullets, they contacted us because we are in that unique position. So they are trying to bridge the gap between Cowlix and Clark, and here you get everybody. So they very specifically wanted to work with Woodland, and we're thrilled to work with them. Of course, we continue to work with FVRL Financial, there you go. Fiverr Federal, where we are doing a financial series for kids next month. I'm very excited about that. And the Woodland Historical Society and Museum, we are doing the author series that is basically the whole concept and the drive behind that is coming from the Friends of the Library. So thank you very much, friends. We have a longstanding partnership with the Woodland Preschool Co-op, and the Mom Watt Collective is our newest partnership. And that leads me to this slide. So we met the Mom Watt Collective at the Resource Fair. The Resource Fair, as many of you in this room know, I was very worried about because I came here and I didn't know any of the local organizations. The Resource Fair is a program that the FVRL does in partnership with WorkSource. And it sort of travels to various libraries every year, so to speak. But the libraries are encouraged to invite local organizations. So that's where I was sweating it because I was like, what are the local organizations? But luckily, I have the best friends of the library. And I just went to them and was really honest. Hey, I need your help. And boy, did I get help. So we had 26 local organizations that tabled at this resource fair. And Sherry Barga, who coordinates all these FVRL resource fairs, said that's the most of any library, including downtown, Battleground, Cascade Park. So that's like bragging rights for us. So we had so many tables. We had tables in this room, we had tables in the lobby, we had tables in the children's room, and we had tables in the patio. So the connections that we made in the relationship fostered, this is why I'm highlighting this. It wasn't the most well-attended. I mean, who's going to beat Reptile Man, right? It wasn't the most well-attended, but the connections made in the relationship fostered, they're priceless. So out of this partnership, the library's been invited to other events. They've been asked to partner. We've been asked to do story time. And the community members, at least a dozen personally, and many of the tabling organizations have asked Woodland to host another resource fair. The Chamber is really excited. The Chamber wants to get businesses involved. The Rotary is thrilled and wants to do this again next year. So I just wanted to highlight this as not the most well-attended, but one of the most meaningful ones we did this year. Okay, so the future focus. Because this library is so new, we really want to start integrating it with the library or with the community. It is not uncommon for me to be out in the community and say, I'm the new branch manager of the Woodland Community Library, and for somebody to say, oh, I haven't been to the new building yet. As the friends know that, yes. So I don't want to, I want that to get less and less as we go. So of course, we're going to grow our programs and we're going to grow volunteers. I highlighted these two things because in Woodland, we have noticed that if we build community-based programming, that means that we have talked to the community, we've listened to the community, they show up for those programs. The volunteering thing surprised me a little bit. This grew out of just getting to know the heavy users, the teenagers in the library that were heavy users that were in here every single week for summer reading. You know, I just started talking to them. What are you reading? How do you read so much? You know, what's a life hack? How can I read this much? And then, you know, I asked for some of them if they wanted to start volunteering, and they did. So we had high school volunteers every Monday. And now we're partnering with the middle school, the Associated Student Body. And we're going to have over 20 volunteers, and I'm very, very excited about that. So the connections that we are looking to grow are with our local schools. Although we have good partnerships, we want to do more. For example, the North Fork Elementary School wants to have every single class come here in at the end of this month. So we've been very busy coordinating that. We want to put up additional read, return, repeat sites. These books come back to us in the book drop sometimes, and sometimes people bring them in and say, I got this from the corner store. Where else can I get this? Or can I?
You might want to explain what that is. Not everybody knows.
Sorry. So the read, return, repeat site, if I go back, you can see the little stickers on these books. You see all those white stickers on the books. So these are from the district. Kelsey's team takes care of this. And they're books that are not cataloged, so you don't have to check them out. It's an honor system, right? It's like a little free library, but it's our library books and our goodwill out there. And it has a little sticker that says read, return, repeat, and explains the whole program.
It's to extend literacy out into the communities to underserved areas or people that don't have access otherwise.
I've been really happy to see those books come back in our book drop, or people to come by and say, you know, they think of it as a little free library. Like, where else can I take this to? And it's like, I'm getting there, give me time. So that is my report. I hope that you have all had a chance to walk around the library. I know you've all been here before, but I hope you all have a chance. And if there's any questions about the library or about the report, I'm happy to answer them.
Great job for your first year.
Oh, well, thank you.
Look forward to more.
Yes, me too. I love it here. Thank you, Marie. I'm gonna run away.
I think the Friends are doing a really good job with their bookstore, I have to say.
Isn't it lovely?
I spent $12 there tonight. It's very well organized.
It's Sharon.
Yeah, I think it's very visually appealing and very well organized. So great job.
That was a compliment well deserved, Sharon.
I buy the books for my little free library, so that's how that works. The little not so free library.
To someone.
Yeah. All right, so our next agenda item is the policy committee rules of conduct. This will be the second reading of the rules of conduct policy. And I think we have
So
the
on
current and the proposed.
Yeah, on page 54 of your packet is the current policy. But we did a total rewrite of the policy. So the new policy that's proposed for your second reading and hopefully adoption starts on page 57 of the packet. And it essentially takes the majority of the words from the current policy and restructures them into categories of behaviors that allows the staff to then apply those categories when there are issues that arise in the library, to know how to handle those situations. And so we have what are called exclusion guidelines internally that will be applied to these, so that no matter if you're at the Woodland Library or the Goldendale Library, if you are loud or disruptive and yelling or misuse of equipment, as an example, there would be a similar application of what would occur. So whether that is asking you to leave for the day, the month, the year, whatever those, I don't know why I don't have a word for that right now.
Trespass.
Well, yeah, trespass, but
Incidents.
however the incident, yes, is handled. And so this structure will help the staff to be more consistent about managing the environment. And the reason we have a rules of conduct policy is so that we all have an understanding of what's expected in our locations, so that everyone has the ability to come in and enjoy the space, because we're committed to cultivating a welcoming, community-centered environment where all people are treated with fairness, dignity, and respect. When one person infringes upon the right of another, we no longer are able to say that. So it's really important that the staff manage the environment. And we have lots of people in our spaces every day. Some of our spaces have security guards, most do not. But at any rate, all of our staff are trained in consistent ways of how to handle these situations. And with a policy change, more training will come. So any questions about the policy and how it's written? If
I
not,
don't have any questions. I appreciate that some of the previous grammar and spelling errors that I pointed out have been fixed, and I found a couple of formatting errors in this draft, but it's minor. So
formatting we can do
Yeah,
without
it's not-
your
yeah.
approval.
yes.
Isn't that nice?
So questions or concerns, comments about this policy? We have seen it before.
We have, we've worked out some of the issues
Mhm.
in committee.
Question, I'm noticing leaving personal items unattended. Is that happening rather frequently? Are people leaving personal items in their libraries?
Yes, it does happen.
Okay. Are they
So
young
someone
people?
might, for example, be at a table working with their laptop and they decide they have to go to the restroom. And, you know, in a building like this, it's a little different. If you're in the downtown library with 5 floors, you're very far removed when you're going to the restroom. And we can't be responsible for those items. So we expect people to take their personal belongings with them as they move throughout our facilities.
Thank you for that explanation.
All right, is there a motion to adopt the rules of conduct policy as
I-
presented?
I move, we adopt.
Second. Any further discussion? All right, Miranda, call the roll.
Marie Coffey,
Aye.
Marianne Duncan Cole,
Aye.
Olga Hodges, Morgan here, Mary Williams,
Aye.
Irina Kakarina,
Aye.
Megan Dugan.
Aye. All right, thank you. The motion to adopt the new rules of conduct policy is adopted. And now we have Katrina again with the
Yes.
Facilities and Finance Committee
Get to
report.
start and end your meeting with the most exciting thing
Not
of
quite.
budget finance.
We have more to go.
Okay. Well, you know.
Still exciting though.
Yes,
Be deterred.
I am not. I enjoy the budgeting probably more than other people would appreciate.
We hired you.
So yes, budget. We are looking at the calendar here on page 61 of your packet. And this calendar looks different than what you would have seen in previous years. And why is that, you might ask? Levy lid lift is the answer. So where we would have been performing different efforts in June, July, and August, we were busy spreading the good word and getting our levy lid lift to pass. So thank you for everybody who made that happen. And the efforts that we put into the levy lid lift will also support budgeting going forward. So there is some capacity there, capacity saved. So now we're in September. What are we doing? We are reevaluating and amending the 2025 budget. As we went through the financials, we said several times underspent, overspent, need to modify. So we will make all of those adjustments and bring that to the board in October for adoption. And then in November, you will see your first read of the draft 2026 budget. And then in December, we'll bring that to the board for adoption. I will point out through the levy lid lift process, we have a good structure as we did projections for 5 and 10 years out. So we have a good structure established already. It's just looking at 2025, seeing what needs to adjust there and move into 2026. And what do we know now that we didn't know when we were preparing those estimates? Any thoughts, questions, or concerns on this budget calendar?
Well, you already know I'll be in Mexico in December, but I trust the rest of you to handle the budget. And
We'll have
will
a
not be
very
joining the
strong
meeting
draft
remotely.
Prepared in November.
We'll be looking for your questions in
I'll,
November.
I'll ask them early and often. Okay, thank you very much, Katrina.
Absolutely.
So we're on item 8, and the Fort Vancouver Regional Library District Board of Trustees will now meet in executive session to discuss collective bargaining as allowed by RCW 4230144B. And we will be in executive session for 20 minutes, which will be 7:20 p.m. And we are not expected to take any further action following this executive session. And so you can stay and wait for us, but we won't be taking further action after that, after our session.
And for those of us who are attending the meeting via electronic assistance,
I will call you.
Yes, we will reconnect with you.
you're gonna phone
When
us
we-
again.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to move to the staff work area for this. So you guys can stay here. We're Right, it is 7:20. I would like to call the regular meeting back to order. And we are at board comments. Does anyone have a comment they would like to make?
Thank you for hosting us.
Thank you for coming.
Look forward to hearing for what you have coming in the future.
Just.
We will.
All right, I guess our next regular meeting is Monday, October 20th at 6 p.m. at La Center Wheel Club Community Center and on Zoom. And is there a motion to adjourn the September meeting?
Well moved.
Second?
We need to do a roll call for that?
Nope.
All right, I will adjourn. Thank you.
All